Did you know that feminism was actually originated as a form of psychological warfare? Feminists. And for those of you females who somehow feel oppressed by men or would never ever ever be willing to serve your husband, this video is for you. Did you know that you have actually been under attack from the very beginning, feminists? Now, as a fulfilled wife who fully supports the beauty and the innate nature of us females at the core, I hereby present you with the following information.
Is Aaron Russo, a filmmaker and former politician. To his left is Nicholas Rockefeller of the infamous Rockefeller banking and business dynasty. After maintaining a close friendship with Nicholas Rockefeller, Aaron eventually ended the relationship, appalled by what he had learned about the Rockefellers and their ambitions.
He was at the house one night, and we were talking, and he started laughing. He said, "Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about?" And I said, I had pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote, you know? And he started to laugh. He said, "You're an idiot." And I said, "Why am I an idiot?" He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded women's lib, you know? And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He said, there were two primary reasons. And they were, one reason was we couldn't tax half the population. And the second reason was, now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. It breaks up the family. The kids start looking at the state as the family.
Psychological warfare involves the use of planned propaganda, as well as other forms of manipulation in order to skew and alter your beliefs, your mindsets, your thoughts, and your feelings and opinions, whether about yourself or in regards to someone or something externally. Would you believe me if I told you that, ironically enough, the concept of feminism itself is actually anti-female in nature? As feminism is a form of psychological warfare, it is a tool that has been used for the last century in order to dictate your beliefs about what it means to actually be a female, corrupting what it means to be a female completely. Feminism began in the early 1900s. It was introduced and advertised as being a form of female liberation, as a tactic to introduce women to the male industrial workforce. But not only that, it also enabled women to become taxable alongside men, as well as encouraging women to take on a more masculine role. However, if you ask me, there is nothing liberating about a female acting like a man. In fact, it is rather quite the opposite. As women continued to take on these new roles with masculine behaviors throughout the 1900s, believe it or not, the rise of feminism began to statistically coincide with the fall of birth rates and the skyrocketing rise in divorce rates. This is still the case to this day as we speak more than ever. The Rockefellers played a large part in the creation and the advertisement of the feminist agenda throughout the 1900s, and it is still highly pushed to this day by the global elite who seek to depopulate the earth for their own benefits. By successfully convincing us divine females that we are somehow oppressed by men, this has caused women in turn to start to defy their own female nature and instincts, as well as to completely despise men, even at a subconscious level. As women have become more and more masculine due to this fact, yes, it does directly coincide with the drastic reduction in births and the drastic rise in divorce rates ever since. Have you ever heard of the story of Adam and Eve? Maybe you have. If so, you will clearly be able to understand that at the beginning it demonstrates a very clear example of how both man and woman are supposed to live in harmony, in love, and in unity with each other. And so they did. But that is before their fall, which was caused by none other than Satan himself, the deceiver. And in today's world, we have fallen over and over and over again. History shows throughout the centuries that this is the case. Nothing has changed ever since the beginning and the story of Adam and Eve. History simply repeats itself. Today we are living in a fallen civilization of mankind, unfortunately more than ever. We have been deceived as a civilization, and we have been enslaved by the Matrix. It is time for you to wake up. Thanks to the unfortunate corruption of mankind, which is demonstrated through various means such as feminism and liberation, men and women have become so far disconnected from their true and innate selves. We have strayed very far away from our God-given nature. Women have been programmed to forget their true innate nature as loving, beautiful, feminine, and subservient beings to their amazing husbands or male counterpart. And males have been programmed to disconnect from their sense of masculinity. Studies show clearly that the testosterone levels of men have been dropping significantly over the last century as well. It is time for all of us to come back to God. Let me be the first to tell you, females especially, for those of you who have felt oppressed by men, for those of you who have been a victim to the programs that the world has been imposing on you, those such as feminism. Females, come back to God. Reconnect to your beautiful, divine and feminine nature, because that is how God made you inherently. You might think that the feminist agenda serves you if you identify as a feminist, or think that you are so independent that you don't need a man. But think about this. Imagine and picture yourself for just a moment. 60 years old, as a 70 or 80-year-old. You have no husband. You have no family. You have no one around you to support you. And maybe all you have is an old pet cat. And you know, that is a really lonely scenario to picture in your mind's eye. But this could be you. And unfortunately, this is the reality of many, many women on today's planet. Because so many women, thanks to the likes of the feminist agenda, psychological warfare, they have become a victim to these programs. They have strayed away from their feminine nature. They have never found their true love, their true king, and so they never created a family. They end up growing old. They're alone because they have no children, their mother and fathers have passed on, their aunts and uncles are gone, and no one is there for them anymore. And this is all because that these women thought that they were doing the right thing by believing that they are somehow oppressed by men, or that they are independent enough to never need a man or to never ever create a family in their entire lives. And look how they end up. Old, lonely, cold, miserable, with no one. If you think that your path is to be an independent slave to the matrix, and if you think that you should never ever 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 consider relying on anyone else but yourself, and yet you are relying on usually a boss, and usually a male boss, to give you your paycheck or to ensure your form of employment is still available and stable, it doesn't make any sense, females. And even if you're self-employed, just remember the example I gave you. Think about when you are old, you're an old lady. Do you want to be lonely with no one around you except for your cats or your dog? No one to look after you when you can't walk properly anymore. When you become sick, who will take care of you? Where is your family legacy? Where is the beautiful bloodline that you could have created? Now the truth is quite simple. It's sweet, but it hurts a lot of people. And really, it should not. Because once you actually learn to live in accordance with the simple truths of life and of the matter, it feels so freeing, and that is truly liberation. When you do not seek to oppose your fellow man or fellow woman, you will naturally unite with them. But first you have to unite with your beautiful self. If you serve men, man will serve you. If you despise men, man will despise you. And if you act like a man, then you get treated like one. And so if you are willing to take on these feminist roles and you think you're doing the right thing, if you act like a man, if you disrespect men, if you do not recognize men's value and how important they are to our society as much as we are as females, you act like a man and you will be treated like one. And if you do not want to be treated like a man, if you do want to find your true love, if you do want to be loved and respected, then you have to respect others too. You have to respect men. You have to be able to acknowledge their divinity. However, I understand this is difficult, especially if any of you beautiful females watching this who may find yourself with a feminist mindset had zero father figure in your upbringing. If you had no positive role model to look up to of an individual who is male and who can be a great example for you as a little girl, well, I understand that can affect you at a very young age to the point where naturally you may start to feel independent and feeling like you have to control everything in your life, even as a little girl. Because when there is no father figure and there is a lack of support system in your life as a child, it can become especially straining and difficult for females, which can lead to those feminist tendencies down the line. And I understand if you've had poor experiences with men, just realize that your experiences with men, ladies, if they have made you feel that you are oppressed by men, that you are either victimized by men, or that you are treated badly by any man you meet, just remember this is your experience and it is not the full reality. Why do I say this? That is because I and many, many, many other women are examples that you can find the love of your life. You can let go of those control patterns that may have been induced within your childhood because you had no real father figure or male role model to look up to. And so you took on those masculine roles as a child. And that can happen. But I'm telling you, ladies, it is safe now. You are safe. And I am calling you, come back to your Father. Come back to God. even if you never had a father. Come back to God and allow yourself, your beautiful, beautiful self. Yes, you are beautiful. Even if you disagree with everything I've said, that's okay. But I am here to tell you that it is possible for you to experience the most immense, beautiful love of your life with a man who absolutely loves and adores every single cell and fiber of your being and wants to create an amazing family, an amazing future with you, ladies. So that when you are old and you are an old granny and you're wrinkly and maybe you have trouble walking, that you don't have to be alone. You will have amazing sons and daughters to look to who will be there for you, and you will be able to grow old knowing that you did your job. You fulfilled your purpose as a female. You created an amazing legacy for yourself that will last way beyond retirement, way beyond working a corporate job for the Matrix, that will last forever. And that is one of the most fulfilling things that you can do as a female. You may not know it yet, and you might disagree. There is no use in rejecting your feminine nature or denying yourself as a submissive, beautiful woman who is here to produce, to procreate, and to serve. Your king is out there somewhere, even though you may not believe it. You may think it's too good to be true. There could never possibly be any man as amazing as I am talking about. But let me tell you, it's true. And I am living it as we speak. So I wish the same for you, ladies, and to release any of those traumatic control patterns from your childhood that caused your masculine tendencies, that caused you to think that you are oppressed somehow by men, or that men cannot be relied on, that women should not rely on men, because that's simply not true. It is within our nature as females and as males to work together. We are subservient to each other. No one is above anyone. We are here to unite as one, to create our best lives together. So choose love, choose life, and choose God. Thank you for being here. If you're new, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and get updated for more. Like, comment to share your love and your experience. Maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you're having trouble letting go of your masculine tendencies, females. Share with us. Share the video to anyone you know who will find this to be helpful. And before you go, by joining my personal Patreon community, you will be able to gain access to all of the amazing content and value and articles that I post behind the scenes on a weekly basis for all of you who are dedicated and committed to embodying their best versions. Whether you are a beautiful, divine, masculine, or like myself, a divine, feminine, join our Patreon community. My links are down below. Can't wait to see you soon, and have an amazing, blessed day and a blessed week. God bless you, and Amen.